Ships on vigor of the waves are skimming, barren summits to the verdant plains. Each horizon is a new beginning, rise Eldraine. Far from the fjords and the ice-cold currents, raving soar over new frontiers.
Got it.
All right, recording in progress. So yeah. Anyway, I guess this is you mind? Kind of trying to do something here, fucker. He just decided to roll over, and so
I got this for the cat.
I need one. I've got my computer sitting on this box that was in my basement here because my entire kitchen remodel is sitting in this room right here next to me, this next room. So this entire huge room is taken up with $20,000 worth of cabinetry that's just sitting here in boxes that I haven't had time to install yet.
Oh, okay.
So my desk area down here in the theater area is this box. And Reacher's laying here at my feet, and he just decided that he was going to roll over and push my box over out of the way. You rotten ass dog. I can't take him with me on this trip. That's the sucky part.
Oh yeah, yeah. Barge life is not going to be a thing.
No, he ain't going to be able to do that one.
Yeah.
But anyway, he'll be here up to the house for the next couple months without me.
Well, on a positive note, I was talking with Jerry Anders last night. Well, chatting, I should say. He started with he sent me this picture of a painting, and the funny part was I actually know who the artist was because I was there. I was still in the military when he painted it. It was Todd Krasovitz. He painted this painting. And
the one with the stick figure, like holding the banana for a cock.
Right. Yeah.
I think I've seen that one too.
I drew that one.
That's right. See.
Yeah.
That's what. Okay, go ahead. Sorry, I was on the wrong.
No, actually, here, I should pull this up because
please tell me you're going to show the picture of the banana cock. It'd be so good. Like turn it around and it'd be the banana cock.
No, it actually depicts a corpsman or a medic saving a soldier's life, but and in the reflection,
it's all fucking cool now, damn it.
In the reflection in the water, the corpsman looks like an angel. Now the guy who's being saved is my boy Matt Murphy. He was a recon corpsman. And
sounds like some shit you'd see on a T-shirt at a flea market. But go ahead.
Well, so here's the image. I'm sure a lot of us have seen it before.
Shift it over a little. You're not centered.
I'm trying to get it to the camera.
Yeah, I can barely see it. Hey, what's it called?
Oh boy, I would have to. Let's see here. I'd have to look it up.
Oh, well, never mind.
But it hangs at Camp Pendleton. He donated it to the hospital there. It hangs at Camp Pendleton. It was really not, really well done. But he shows it to me, and it got me and Jerry talking. And and I was like, oh yeah, Todd Krasovitz did that, and my boy Matt Murphy, posed for that. And he was like, oh wow, small world, And I was like, oh yep, and he was like, yeah, I love our medics, man. And and I was like, he says, yeah, I'm gonna be trying to get out there to, Vegas in the cooler months, blah blah blah. I was like, right on, man, that'll be cool to catch up with you again. And I said, and oh yeah, by the way, if you happen to have any work, just let me know. And he goes, actually, so I might be coming out there to Georgia at some point, probably about the time you're going to be out there in a barge. So I don't know, man. Yeah, just
okay. So it's called what did I just say? Wings of Hope, or what did I just say this was?
That would sound about right. I could probably look it up on Todd's
Wings
page.
of Hope is the name of the print.
Okay, yeah, that sounds about right.
Todd Krasovitz.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was actually serving with his brother, Scott Krasowitz. He was in the Navy with me.
Right on.
Yeah, we were all corpsmen. Me, Matt, and Scott. We were all corpsmen together.
See if this works.
Yep,
Hey.
that's it.
That's pretty cool.
Somebody owes me a fucking apology.
I owe you a big ass apology. You finally got it.
Yeah. Tell me I'm a fucking monkey.
You're a monkey.
According to Joe Rogan, we're all monkeys.
That's true.
We're all monkeys figuring
The
it out.
files are in the computer.
I know, right out of Zoolander.
Which hospitals that hang out there at Pendleton?
Well, see, it was in the original hospital that was way back in the swamp, but I know since I've gotten out, they've
It
torn
just
that one
says it
down.
now hangs at the Naval Hospital at Camp Pendleton.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that they relocated it to the new hospital that's near the main gate.
Yeah, I haven't been out there. And golly,
I'm more of
it's
a
probably been
more of
2000
a
since
Norman
I was out there
Rockwell
last.
guy. Are you familiar at all with his stuff?
Who? What?
I said I'm more of a Norman Rockwell guy. You were familiar at all with his stuff?
No, never heard of him.
Yeah,
This little small artist guy,
yeah, he did like comics for the New Yorker, right?
something like that.
It
Oh,
was like
shit.
right next to Peanuts, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, we're a bunch of uncultured swine.
We were
At least-
going down the road yesterday, and my son drove us down. My son drove myself and him down. My wife and daughter went down in their car. So, in my son's car, there's his truck. He's got this air freshener, and this air freshener is a
Wannabe man.
little smelly thing, you hang on the mirror, and it's shaped like the image, and the image is Bob Ross with a paintbrush in his hand.
Okay.
And it's shaped round because Bob Ross got this big ass fro going on. And my wife looks in the truck and she says, "Why do you have a thing of Bob Marley hanging on your mirror?"
Oh, my.
Which of course she meant Bob Ross, but at the moment, because and I said, "Yes, I'm going to put this happy little tree right there, Mom."
Oh, he was all about happy trees.
Just at that moment, it was the perfect fucking snowball. You know what I mean? I'm going to put this happy little tree right there, man.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh my god.
It was a good one.
I ended up with a pygmy goat named Quentin because the girl that I was with at the time got Quentin Tarantino and Cuba Gooding Jr. confused. The goat was black, and so she named it Quentin, thinking that was Cuba Gooding Jr.
I mean,
I don't know how you get those two mixed up, but I was like, why did you name the goat Quentin?
you
was like, 'cause of
realize that
his-
you're basically just told on yourself for trolling retards for sex. There's going to be an investigation now. Dale and some of his buddies are going to start looking at your fucking browser history.
I know. That's
I got
so
no-
wrong. Well,
got no
there's no
comment.
defense. I was gonna say there's no defense. I mean,
Yeah, true story. True story. Swear to God. 20 years ago, I don't know.
I was married to her.
Me and the wife and
we fully committed.
these people that we knew at the time are sitting around having this conversation. This is, like I said, 20 something years ago. And it was right about the time that Buffalo Wild Wings started really advertising in our area. And so Buffalo Wild Wings, the closest one to me is Greenville, which is hour and a half, whatever. The next closest one's down near Atlanta. So they're just not anywhere near me. But they started running ads on the TV shows local news station out of Greenville, South Carolina. So you're seeing these commercials for Buffalo Wild Wings, and there's this little cartoon buffalo flying around with these little wings on the cartoon, and it's like zipping around and just hovering. You know, order our new Buffalo Wild Wings, and then it flies over here. Order our new hamburger. You know, whatever. This buddy of mine's wife thought that that little buffalo with the wings was a real thing, and that's where buffalo wings came from. She really thought that there was a little flying breed of buffaloes, and that's where the wings came from, was those tiny little buffaloes. And so the conversation came out organically, because we were having this conversation. And she said something about those little buffaloes. I've never even seen one. Where do they raise them? I don't know. I don't remember the conversation now, but it was like we all started laughing, and then it was kind of like, holy shit, she's not kidding.
So just to confirm, this was a voting age adult.
No.
Fucking terrifying.
This is why we got Joe Biden.
Oh my God.
Well, you know, so here's my theory on some of this, and I'm just going to say this. People are talking about who should be the president, blah, blah, blah. Donald Trump is going to be the nominee. There is no way around that. And people need to go ahead and get their minds set on that, because to Donald Trump supporters, no matter what evidence is presented, because there's this huge distrust of the government and the political system in general now.
Oh yeah.
Wonder why.
And whether or not we've seen enough evidence for most any rational human being to come to the conclusion that there was election interference.
Right.
Whether or not we have the statistical data to prove unequivocally that resulted in a win or loss, that part's irrelevant in the context of what I'm going to say. But it did create an environment where the new norm is now distrust.
Sure.
So no matter what evidence the U.S. government, the Attorney General, Alvin Bragg, no matter what evidence these people come out with, the Trump supporters are never going to believe it, regardless of whether or not it's true, regardless of whether or not it's criminal, because now there's an air of this criminal activity, this pay to play and this two-tier judicial system and all of these things. You understand what I'm saying now?
Well, they'll either ignore it or they'll justify it to some means of, well, he did it because of this.
Yeah, but even still, what I'm saying is there's this level of distrust. So if they came out tomorrow and said, you know, Donald Trump murdered 12 kids, we found them buried under his basement, most people are going to go, well, I don't fucking believe that. There's no way. You know what I mean? And so because of that group of people, the diehard Trump guys, not diehard Republicans, not diehard anti-establishment guys, the diehard Trump,
right.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
They're never going to accept that. And it's not without a certain moderate level of understanding, by the way. And because of that, the government's in a losing battle.
Oh yeah.
Because now, so take this thing that's going on. Where is it? New York, I think maybe. You know, the January 6th committee has now came out and said that they accidentally destroyed all the evidence.
Half the evidence.
So now Trump, how's that even going to work? And I'm no legal expert.
I know,
How
right?
in the world is a guy expected to provide an adequate defense and have a fair trial when half of the information that you're referencing has now been destroyed and can't be quantified in any way?
The judge should immediately just throw the whole thing out.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't understand how that's going to work. And because of that, and I don't think Trump did what they think what they're saying. I think it's absolutely ridiculous, by the way.
Right.
I don't say that because I'm a diehard Trump fan. I
Right.
am a Trump fan. I think his view of American politics is quite refreshing. I think the things that he says, some of the things that he does, yeah, he's rough around the edges. He's not a politician, and I think a lot of that is that stark contrast because we're used to seeing people who were prepped the majority of their life.
Right.
They went to college for political science. They interned with a politician. They worked for a politician. They gave up their summers to go to Washington and work for Senator so and so. I was on his staff. Their entire dream from being in middle school is to stand behind a podium and give speeches.
Right.
So you're comparing someone who's basically his attitude is pretty much like ours. Now, he didn't go to the same schools we went to. He
Right.
didn't eat out of the same fucking MRE bags that we did. But
Right.
what I'm saying is his mentality, his view of things. I feel like Trump's somebody you could sit down with and you would say, like, say you were on his detail and you were standing there and you were like, everybody else has left the room now. You're just standing at the door.
Right.
I feel like he's the kind of guy that would say, you want to come over here and sit down and have coffee? You know what I mean? And like, and you'd be like, no, sir, I'm good. No, come on. You know what I mean? And he would just be that guy that would bring you in and breach that boundary. And you'd end up sitting there drinking coffee and laughing and cutting up just like me and you.
Right. Right. Right.
And so
he at least would be genuinely interested.
exactly, he wouldn't be
what
so
makes
full of
us tick.
shit is what I'm getting at. He's a normal guy.
Yeah.
He just happens to be rich. Now he is a narcissist and he is something of a, you know what I
Sure.
mean? He's got some personality glitches that I disagree with, but nonetheless, he's still a genuine person, at least on
Well, you
that
show me-
level. I
You
don't
show
think
me
he
a
would be
perfect person,
like.
I'm gonna show you somebody with some fucking skeletons in some closets. You know what I'm
I mean,
saying?
I'm just saying. I don't think he's the kind of guy like for example, my wife has a friend, and that friend worked on Kenny Chesney's tour. So they would
You can
like
go ahead
drive
and
a
say
truck.
you can go ahead and say it was you, John. I mean,
No,
you
it
can
wasn't
go ahead
me.
and say
It wasn't me. But they said that one of the rules that they told him when they got hired on this job is if Kenny Chesney comes in the mess tent, everybody else leaves. Like you're not allowed to be in the mess hall when he's in there. He doesn't want to be bothered. He doesn't want to talk to regular people.
He probably eats with his feet.
You know what I mean? Like, but then at the same time, the same guy said, so he was in there one day and Kenny Chesney walked in. He was like, I'm going to head out. And he's like, no, come over here and sit down. And he brought him over and sat at his table and they sat there for 30 minutes, an hour, whatever, and just carried on like normal people. You know what I mean? But I don't think Trump's that guy that would be like, I don't eat dinner around those people. I don't want to talk to those people. You know what I mean? Like no more than we.
right. Right.
That's surprising that
Hitting
Kenny
my fucking
Chesney
box,
had.
please.
I'm surprised that Kenny Chesney actually had that rule because
I don't think he did. I think it was his handlers.
I was gonna say,
You know what I
sounds
mean?
like-
so I was gonna say he'll go out and do like just pop up, like go to a random bar in Key West, you know, and jump up on stage and sing a few songs and shit.
I think
Because keep in
those
mind
handlers
that-
are trying to mainly maybe trying to keep things focused and keep things going. You know what I mean? They've got to keep a certain, you know, kind of like we used to do with teams. Hey, I want to go shopping over here. No, we're going this.
Maybe, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Maybe
Like,
they made the rule because he's a social butterfly and he keeps them off
yeah,
schedule.
you know.
That
So
could be.
that wasn't a shot at him. I was just saying that the environment. You know what I mean? That environment. I don't think that Trump would be that guy.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying he'd be the guy that would invite you into the bathtub to talk to him while he's playing with a rubber duck or nothing, but you know what I mean? Like,
Then I'd have other
That's-
questions, but
that's one of the things that I found when I met that guy that was in on that pipeline, you know, the guy that wound up being a friend of mine that hired me on. you know, Brian and all them were like upset that this guy liked me.
Shit.
But every time this guy came into town, they were like, "Excuse me, sir. Yes, sir. What can I do for you, sir? Yes, sir." Taking napkins and wiping the corner of his mouth and shit. You know what I mean? And so
Because
the first time I meet him, they come up and they hand him body armor, and then they hand me body armor. We're standing there and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, "What the fuck is this for?"
I ain't wearing
Well,
that.
we want you to wear it. And I'm like, I ain't wearing that fucking shit. And I throw it over against the fucking floor. I said, I ain't wearing that fucking shit. Get out of here, you stupid ass. And they were like,
but
and so my point is, like, when he and I hung out, it was just like us hanging out.
right.
I'd tell him the same fucking jokes I'd tell you. I talked to him just like I fucking talked to you. And so when he and I were in the vehicle together, it was just good old boy slapstick humor.
Right.
That is the part that he liked the most, I think,
Well,
about our interactions. And so when he came back to me, he just wanted to be treated like a normal fucking human.
I was gonna say, because people like, Nate and Brian probably made him feel fucking a little stressed and uncomfortable. Like, well, fuck, I can't wait for this to be over. Whereas you made
Yeah.
him feel like,
Get your
oh
fucking
shit,
tongue
time's
out of his
flying,
ass. He's a human being. Leave him alone. What the fuck?
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Brian and them, man, and I like Brian, don't get me wrong, but they think the way to make clients happy is by juggling their balls with your tongue.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Wow.
I have some clients that
You see
would have
that hook?
definitely liked that.
You see that kidney shot, Dale?
I know that was quite the body shot right there.
Yeah,
Like,
no, there's an
easy.
organization that I worked for a while that had a lot of clients that would have liked that.
Well, yeah.
Was
I
it
mean,
was their name an initial for something else?
Yeah, it was a 3-letter organization.
IGA,
Most-
the grocery store.
most of those 3-letter organizations have assholes like that, and that it's funny because when we were working
No, I'm
with
saying they would have literally liked my tongue on their balls.
yeah.
They went that way.
Oh.
Yeah.
$20, $20.
I mean, on top of the 6 a day, it wasn't bad.
Well, hey John, you remember Jimmy Warren? I don't know if you ever worked with Jimmy Warren.
I don't remember the name.
He was one of those cats that was well, there was a lot of cats that were engineers that were shooters as well on our teams when we had that program going on. And I don't shit. Honestly, if you hadn't been brought on in a medic, I wouldn't have been surprised if they had brought you on as an engineer shooter back when that program was going on. But at any rate, so we'd have these guys when the clients couldn't go out to certain places because they were a little too hot. They would have guys that would do assessments for USACE.
Yeah, I remember that section of it. I just don't remember that name.
Well, he was one of those guys.
That's how Fravor got in.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's how Dave got in as well.
Dave might have, yeah.
I think that's how Dave came on.
I can't remember.
I could be wrong. He'll be listening. He'll pop up on YouTube and say something fucking stupid. Dave is gay.
Might have been short-lived for him because he came in right as that was ending and winding down. But at any rate, so Jimmy Warren, like most of the guys that get brought on, kind of an ADD personality, and with that, he's very talkative. He'd talk to clients. And so when I came in, I was used to DOS programs where it was like, don't talk to the clients. You're always standoffish. So I'd always just kind of be a little bit more proper, just kind of drive and just don't say shit, A and B, very quiet. And, over time I loosened up, and Jimmy, he'd be just sitting there, yap, like, and almost not even paying attention to the driving. I'm just kind of like, hey, Jim, like, focus on, here's what we're doing, bro. But so we got a good blend working together over time. And so at one point he tells me, hey, I'm thinking about putting in for Whip's program. And I'm like, okay, let's have a serious heart to heart. Then this is come to Jesus moment right here. And I said, I'm like, it's good pay. It's a steady long-term gig. I'm not going to bullshit you. It's going to be a good program if you're wanting that longevity. However, comma, brace yourself. You cannot talk to the client like you do. Like I love your enthusiasm, but bro, I'm telling you right now, the best thing you can do is learn to shut the fuck up. Okay. They don't, like, they'll make you think you're friends, and then they'll go to the fucking, like, the mini ambassador and be like, I want that fucker gone. And then next thing you know, you're on a plane going, what the fuck happened? Like,
Yeah.
they did that so many times, the guys, they would fuck them over. And that's what people didn't get. Like that program was so volatile like that.
Politics.
Yeah, dude. I mean, because you crossed over into that, didn't you, Bugs? You went from the IPD side. Oh, you didn't?
No. So when I went over in '04 was on the initial SSI, the Security Services Iraq, and we were doing the protective work for the CPA.
Okay.
And then from there, as it transitioned over into whips, that was when I ended up going over and doing protective work for International Republican Institute. So I stayed away from whips my entire time.
Oh, okay.
I should have.
Yeah, it just. I mean, I just saw it. I mean, I am not the person that's good for next to the flagpole. I mean,
Dude,
I'll get the job done, but I got ADD, and when we're not working, I need a fucking supervisor.
Dude, I got fucked over real good on that when I showed up. They flew us in. They fly us in, and somewhere in Virginia, I don't even remember now. And ASR,
Norfolk.
ASR, does that sound right?
It does sound familiar.
Anyway, it's something along those lines. But anyway, so they pick us up in this fucking charter bus, like a Greyhound. They drive us out in the woods. Now it's like fucking 2,300. It's blowing fucking snow. It's cold as goddamn shit. And we're standing on a fucking line. And these cunts are walking back and forth in the dark, with fucking lights shining on them. I was a SEAL. I've done this. I've done that. Rah, rah, rah. You fuckers are cunts. Look next to you. One of these fuckers won't be here tomorrow. Blah, blah, blah. They take us back to our fucking digs, right? And we had a nice fucking hooch. So there's this fucking stack of papers, man. One of them's like the Cincinnati pre-hospital. There's like over 1,000 fucking questions on the psych eval, and it's now 01 or something. Get this motherfucker done, get it turned in, then hit the rack. PT 06. You sit down, you're fucking exhausted. And I sit down and filling out all this shit, and it takes fucking hours to get this goddamn thing done. You ever wanted to fuck your mom? You ever thought about fucking your mom? You ever tried to fuck your mom? I mean, all this, you know how it is. I mean, all that stupid psych eval bullshit.
Right.
Next fucking morning, we're on the line. And this fucking head instructor did not like me at all. I mean, he fucking hated me. And so me and him wound up about a week or two into it. We wound up getting into it. And he's like, yeah, you fucking lied to us anyway or something. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? I lied to you. Well, you never told us you had tattoos. I'm like, motherfucker, y'all had full color. You know how it used to be. You had to submit full fucking color shots with your fucking resumes and shit. Your application process had to have full color photos. You remember that shit?
Yeah.
You'll have to do that. Because with us,
Right.
it was a suit and tie gig, and you had to submit photos. And he was pissed off about this tattoo that comes up just out of the collar. And because nothing else you could see really at the time. Anyway, it turned into something, and then it sort of kept going and kept going and kept going. That turned into a physical confrontation that I was asked to vacate the premises, and he lost his job.
Oh.
So yeah, whips didn't go too good for me.
I almost got dropped on my initial vetting because it was almost damn near a freezing rain when I was doing my vetting because it was in what was it, January of '04. And we were doing the pistol crawl, and my fucking goggles were fogging up, so I took them and put them up on my forehead, and they almost dropped me for safety violation. I'm like, I can't fucking see, and you think me taking my eye pro off is more fucking dangerous? I'm like,
I
I
almost
put
got
it
dropped
on.
by sock for getting done with my push-ups too soon. I didn't fucking know. I didn't know. Nobody told me. You know, I didn't come from a military background. We get out there doing PT and they're like 60 push-ups in 1 minute, 30 push-ups in 1 minute, whatever the fuck it was. I don't remember now. And of course, me, you know, I just drop down and boom, boom, boom. I'm done. I stand back up. Everybody else is still doing push-ups. I'm done. I did my 30, whatever it was.
I have more of a recovery time now.
Dude, them motherfuckers ate my ass. Thought I was sandbagging. I said, what are you talking about? You said do 30. No, the minimum is 30. You're supposed to keep going the whole 2 minutes. Well, why the fuck didn't you just say that?
Yeah. Tell me to do 30 push-ups, I'm doing 30 push-ups.
Yeah,
Tell me to do
they
max
really got
push-ups.
pissed off because I didn't keep going. They thought I was being a smart ass because I banged them out so fast. You know what I mean? I'm like, motherfucker, I do push-ups every day. Of course they're going to be fast.
You know
Right.
what, though? I will say this. I used to be that guy that would like put out maximum effort. Like, it's no shit, Deadpool. Like, here we go, maximum effort, right? But
Tell
you
me
know
what
what?
chimichangas.
I tell you what, though. Last time I checked, they don't give bonuses or fucking gold stars for, you know, all the extra bullshit that I did. I mean, I'd be the guy that would be, they'd be like, oh man, this guy's a fucking stud, and I'd be like, okay, cool.
Literally
I'd be
no
like,
one in the world, the history of our planet, has said you're a stud. Not one person.
Hurt feeling.
Boom.
hey, do our three other viewers see this? This is what I got to put up with. I mean, do you see this?
Calm down, stud.
So you want to hear something funny? So
Always.
I'm down here in my basement, and I got to replace my toilet. Well, I planned on being home longer this time, but then I got this pop-up thing I got to run out and do. But so I buy this toilet because I got to replace it. $200 and whatever, $200, $219. I don't know, fucking toilet. I'm reading the directions. Put the tank on the bottom and screw it down. Make sure you tighten it really well, because if the seal doesn't sit good, it'll leak. So, you know, me, big old fucking mongoloid, I go out and get a fucking wrench, and I'm sitting there tightening it up. I'm not really thinking it's that fucking tight until the toilet breaks in half. So literally this big fucking chunk of porcelain toilet just snaps, and the whole fucking bowl's now in 3 pieces.
Oh.
And I'm like, what the fuck? I mean, I'm talking about irreparable damage.
Right.
It's something I can fucking JB weld or flex seal back together. It's fucking done. I just pissed $200 down a fucking toilet. But in the process of that, I reached down to pick up the toilet because, you know, Hulk smash, and I fucking cut my hand in like 3 damn places.
Oh
And
man,
we didn't have any suture kits, and I didn't have any
Super glue.
fucking super glue, and I couldn't find a staple gun. I mean, nothing. And so I'm just like, now every time I take this fucking Coban off, the damn thing just starts bleeding again. It's been 2 days. No.
okay. Okay,
Yeah.
now see, John, with Booger, I would be like totally like, okay, now it's about time you got to do something. You're not only a paramedic, but your wife is a nurse, and I've got judgy eyes. I've got
She's a
totally
nurse
fucking
practitioner.
okay. Even like so, judgy eyes time. What the
Even
fuck?
more judgy eyes.
Well, I mean, you know, I got it fixed. It's not bleeding now.
Well, it's gonna be.
Well, that's why I got Coban, dummy.
Oh, fuck me.
All right, I
You know
got
what?
told I was old yesterday because I said I was going to go buy some moleskin for the blisters on my feet. So Iris was like, "You're old," and I was like, "Why?" And she was like, "Nobody says they're gonna put moleskin on their feet anymore."
I just put moleskin on my fucking heels because I got new shoes.
You guys are old.
Fuck you.
I've got some pretty good blisters on the bottoms of my feet. I didn't anticipate the sand being as hot as it was yesterday.
I'm fixing to be 2 months alone on a barge. I better get something to take with me.
Booger, get in his knapsack.
Yeah, you're gonna need it for your
Not for my
palms.
feet.
For your palms.
Not for my feet.
Oh,
Oh shit.
Yeah, we gotta go back down to Athens and finish up a couple things this morning, and then, man, just can't believe it,
yeah. That's definitely
That's
makes you
right.
feel
Yeah,
like you're getting old.
bro.
you're gonna have to go get that. You're gonna have to go over to Costco and get that big bottle of Jergens.
Thinking about selling this fucking house now. I got one kid left in here, and I got 5 fucking bathrooms and 3
Right.
floors and shit. I'm thinking I might go buy me a fucking double wide on 10 acres. Just fuck all that shit. You're laughing, but I wasn't kidding.
I was.
I'm laughing because it's true. I mean,
Yeah.
you get to a certain point where you're like, why am I fucking
I'm
doing all this
seriously
stuff?
at the point where we're talking about fucking downsizing, bro.
I
Yeah.
would. I mean, especially if you don't need that house right now. I mean, the market's still
I mean, I ain't
good.
needed this size house and probably never. My lake house was over 7,100 square feet heated.
Lord it.
This house is 5,100 square feet heated. And
So you're
my
saying
fucking
that
power bill this month on this house, guess what it was? Take a shot. 815 fucking dollars for electricity. But I've got that fucking lake out in the backyard that runs a pump all the time. I mean, I got a pool we could put a jet ski in pretty much. And then I got this fucking hot tub out here that's sucking down, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I got a pretty much probably your guest bathroom here. We're at like 900 square feet.
yeah.
So
Well, you know, it's funny because, you know, you spend your whole life when you're young thinking about all the things you're going to do and all the things you're going to have and all the life you're going to have. And then you know, you struggle and you claw and you fight your way through it. And then you finally realize the futility of trying to provide the things that you really don't need.
yeah.
And now I'm almost 50 years old, and I realize that I've wasted way too much of my life pursuing things that really have no tangible value. And now I kind of wish to some extent I'd spent a little more time huddled up in front of a TV watching movies with my kids and less time on the road, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying I'm sorry that I have a nice house. That's not what I'm saying. Or I'm you know, I'm not saying I'm regretful about having nice cars or anything like that. I'm just saying that I spent an awful lot of time because of my situation. I didn't grow up with money, and I
I was gonna
reached.
say we're shaped by that.
Yeah, I reached so far that I spent too much time pursuing that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I think maybe I guess what I'm trying to say is maybe I went too far. You know what I mean? Like, maybe the step that I took to get my kid, maybe that should have been 2 generations, not 1. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I know I get that because I definitely, you know, with my kids, because mine are, you know, similar in age to yours. So my son's 21 and then my daughter's getting ready to turn 20. So, you know, I spent 10 years of their life, you know, at a minimum 6 months out of the year gone. Typically it was more around the 8, 9 month range, you know, and then I'd be home for a fleeting bit.
Right.
And
But
you know, to what end, you know, because I missed out on a lot of shit, you know, with that. I watched my daughter's first steps from a fucking email file because I wasn't there. You know, different shit like that along the way.
Sure, but I'm gonna, for both of you, because I know both your histories to a certain degree. Like, Booger, didn't even know your dad, and
Yeah,
same
might have
for
just
you,
found him.
John, right? Same for you, John, right?
Well, I knew mine, but I didn't meet him until I was in my early teens.
Right.
We fell out of touch until I was probably close to 30 again.
So one, you weren't really shaped by that mentorship.
Oh, not in the
That
slightest. No. Well, that's not entirely true. The absence of a father did shape me. So it
well,
would be unfair or unwise to say that it didn't. But yeah, I understand what you mean. There
Okay.
was no positive direct influence in the capacity of guidance.
Okay. So what I'm saying is you did your best with what you had, and now you do have lessons learned, and you're going to pass that along. But you did pretty good. You didn't make the same mistakes that your fathers had made with you guys. Okay. So don't beat yourselves up. I mean, seriously.
Yeah, no, that's not what I'm doing. I guess what I'm saying, like with my youngest son and I, we were in the truck yesterday, and he said something. I don't remember what
Who?
it was now. We were talking
Who?
about something, and I said, "Listen, you always go above and beyond. If you borrow somebody's truck, even if you're just running up to the store, you fill it up with gas when you bring it back. Somebody loans you $10, you give them 15 back. You never, ever do the bare minimum. You never leave. This has been my life. Never leave room for anybody to say, well, if it hadn't been for me. You know what I mean? I don't want anybody to say, well, if it hadn't been for us stepping in that time, if it hadn't been for us doing this that time, or, man, I loaned him my car and that son of a gun brought it back and it was dirty, or, you know what I mean? Like, I never leave room for any of that. Period. End of story. I don't want anybody to say, well, yeah, I loaned him money, but, so I'm just saying, like, whenever you do something, you go beyond what that expectation is. There's
Right.
never going to be a point where someone's going to walk up to my wife and say, this guy did this, and her go, did he really? You know what I mean? Like, my life is so fucking cut and dry that most people that know me, if you come up, if somebody walks up and says, man, that guy lies every fucking breath he takes.
Right.
No, that son of a bitch tells the truth even when it hurts. You know what I mean? He goes out of his way to tell the truth. He's so fucking honest it hurts people's feelings. You do not want to ask him a question unless you want the fucking answer. And
Right.
that's the way my life is in every respect, because I spend, I think, a lot of my time, like the interaction that you and I just had just 2 seconds ago, where you said, well, you didn't really know your father. I felt the need in my mind to clarify that statement because I didn't feel like it gave the whole story. Where most people would have been content with saying, yeah, I didn't really know my father. But then if I say, well, I didn't really know my father, and let's say one of my kids sees this, and then they say, well, that's not true. Didn't you say you met him when you were a teenager? You know what I mean? Like, so in my mind, like, I've got to be so honest that I annoy the shit out of people with that, because I don't feel like it's being truthful.
Right.
And I tend to over explain things in that regard. And I think having that circular or I see the world in the, like, I say it's a circular kind of thing, the way I see things. Most people, they look forward. They look toward that goal and they see that one thing. And then, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to the store, I'm going to do this, yada, yada, yada. Where me, I'm like, I see more possibilities than a lot of people do. You know what I'm trying to say? Like,
Sure.
I don't know if that's the way we were trained or how it comes about, but
So I got a question for
my
you on
daughter will
that.
walk across the parking lot, right? and she's going to the parking lot, and she's like looking, going to her car, right? Everybody would be. Me, I'm not just looking, I'm looking under the car. I'm looking behind the car. I'm looking in the bushes as I'm going to the car. I'm watching the traffic. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not just doing that one thing. I'm doing 1,000 things at the same time we're doing that one thing. Does that make sense? What I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, it makes sense. And with when you were talking about being, kind of uber honest, if you will, do you find that you're extra critical of other people's words?
I find that I've had to, over the years, tailor the way I respond to things because I am overly sensitive to those sorts of things.
And
And
I
a
ask because
lot of times I would in the
I
past, correct people in instances such as that. I used to get into a lot of trouble with that in my own home. Because
Yeah.
someone would say something or they would mispronounce it or they would use it in the wrong sentence, and I would try to say, okay, well, here, not in a condescending sort of dickhead way, but just that, hey, here's what that really means, and here's how it, like, oh my God. I mean, all these stories, you know, that every time something comes up, it seems that I've read something somewhere about that thing. It's just
Sure.
it's like this huge vast vault of just useless fucking information that's accumulated over the years of all this little shit that I read along the way, you know what I mean? And like the story of the marathon that we were talking about a few weeks back, you know what I mean? And like, well, why do they call it a marathon? Oh, well, I happen to fucking know that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or like yesterday, someone in the house was saying something about being a traitor, and I was like, "Do you know the story of Benedict Arnold?" And they're like, "What do you mean?" And I'm like, "Okay, well, he was the commander of West Point, and he was doing a deal, and you know what I mean. And now, forever, hundreds of years later, when someone his name has become synonymous with treason. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
everybody will say for eternity, Benedict Arnold, because he
Right.
betrayed George Washington. You know what I mean? And it's like, I don't know, but yeah, so I
Yeah.
find myself, but a lot of times when I would do that when I was younger and maybe a little less understanding of things, I don't know, but it would be taken the wrong way.
Yeah.
Even with my wife or my children or my family or something, I would say something and they'd be like, they would think that I'm being a dick. Oh, well, you think
Right.
you know everything. It's like, no, no, I care about you. I'm invested
Right.
in you.
Right.
Seeing you successful is a good thing for me. That's a positive thing for me. I'm trying to help you not go out in public and do that where people
Right.
will make fun of you. Will
Right.
ridicule
Or
you.
especially behind your back,
Exactly. Because
Yeah.
now you've gone out there and they're like, oh, well, just can't even use that fucking word right. Oh my God, you would never believe what so and so said today. You know what I mean?
right.
Like it's just like so. I'd much rather one of my friends come up and do that for me.
Sure.
You know, I
Right.
don't. So I don't know. But yeah, I'm a cunt.
Yeah. No, I mean, I get that because
That
I'm
I'm a cunt.
very, no, well, that too, you are, but, no, I get that with my wife because I am very intentional and precise with my words. And if I am imprecise, then I will actually self-correct. Because I'll think about it and be like, no, no, no. What I meant to say was I'm this. And if I don't have the right words, I'll say, I can't quite put it the right way, but I'm in this neighborhood. And that way I can at least try to get the message across and until I can think of a better way to put it. Especially when it comes to emotions, because man, I was, an emotional dullard. I mean, when they talk about intellectual IQ, then there's emotional IQ. Emotional IQ, we're talking like Sling Blade. Yeah, I had nothing. I had anger and happiness, and that was it for a long time.
I was in the same boat. I've been told before by people of let's just say it had a significant impact in my life at one point in time, but I've been told in the past, like, the only emotion you know is anger, which isn't true.
It's just the only one you
it's
show.
hard to manifest those other emotions. When you're in the middle of chopping people up. I mean, watching TV.
You can multitask. I mean,
Yeah, fair point.
Yeah. It's called a rage room for a reason.
Yeah.
I don't know what they expected me to do in there.
I'm thinking of
don't make me spit my water out on the microphone.
Thinking of that old line by Andrew Dice Clay. He said, he took some girl out and took her to dinner, and then she didn't want to screw, and he was like, "The fuck you mean you don't want to screw?" And he's like, "I bought you a pizza. You knew I wanted to fuck you. If you didn't want to fuck, you shouldn't eat the pizza."
I mean,
yeah.
it was implied.
There's a transaction that's implied there. So
Yeah.
You knew I wanted to fuck you. You know what I mean? He's like, "Why'd you eat the pizza? I threw a burger down your throat."
So it's like the billionaire that goes up to the pretty girl and he says, "Would you sleep with me for $10 million?" She says, "Yes." And he says, "Would you sleep with me for $1?" And she goes, "No, what do you think I am, a whore?" And he goes, "Well, we already determined you are. Now we're just negotiating."
Quit, fucker. He's gotten in the habit of whenever he wants something, he will start out by nudging me. And then when he doesn't get his way, he will start putting his paw on me. And then when that doesn't work, he'll jump up and put both paws on me. And then if that doesn't work, he'll shit on the floor. No, the escalation level's not appropriate. I think he works for Chicago PD, maybe.
All right.
Kind of jumping levels awful fast there, right?
I know, right?
Minneapolis Police Department, I'm fixing to George Floyd your ass. Quit.
Take them on down to the riverboat in Alabama.
Yeah. I feel folding chairs next.
I'd planned on taking some time off actually. But anyway, so I get this phone call the other night. "Hey, yeah, I need you to run down here and do this thing." Okay. I wasn't planning on leaving this fast, but all right, I'll run down there. It's a short gig. Good money. Okay. You got your TWIC card, right? Y'all know what a TWIC card is?
Yeah.
Transportation workers identification card.
Well, yeah. So basically it's just it's a fucking cat card. It's a cat card for getting near harbors and into secure places.
Right.
It's basically just a fucking cat card. It's got a picture on it, it's got a chip, got all the same shit a cat card used to have. It's kind of similar, a little different design, but pretty similar. Anyway, so I'm like, yeah, I got my TWIC card. I pull my TWIC card out. I'm like, fuck, it expired in June. "Oh, well, you got to have a TWIC card for this gig." I was like, "All right, happy hunting. No hard feelings. I'm out of the game. You know what I mean? No big deal." So I tell him, "All right, I'm out." So fucking 30, 45 minutes later, phone rings again. It's a recruiter. Yeah. Talk to the client. They really want you on this gig. You be okay to go if we waive the requirement for the TWIC card?
Yes, I can.
Well, wait a minute. You said I needed a security clearance, background check TWIC card. And then I said I couldn't go because I didn't have it. And then now you're saying go ahead and go? Anyway, so I went ahead and renewed my card, but I don't have the new card until it could take 60 days to process. There's no way of knowing, but
It's
anyway,
Right.
almost like working on a interim clearance. I mean, the fact that you had one before.
yeah, it's kind of the same thing. It's just kind of funny
Yeah.
when, like most of these places that require a TWIC card, like it's like a cat card. You're not getting in if it's expired. You're not getting in if it's not good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and they may just do that company wide just so it makes it easier for them to pool bodies, but that's not an actual requirement on that gig, potentially.
No, it's because we're going to be sitting on the Mississippi River digging up 2 petroleum lines that already exist. It's not supposed to be waived, is what I'm getting at.
Well,
Like,
some positions,
it's still
though, I don't
considered
know.
critical infrastructure. You know what I mean?
That's a good deal then.
Yeah, it'll be all right.
Right. It'll be like trying to get into some of the places here in Vegas where they're just kind of like, hey, when you see this guy, just do this thing. Okay. Wave him through.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I
what do
don't
we?
know.
Huh?
I don't know. What the fuck have we even talked about this time? Nothing.
The usual.
We talked about usual shenanigans,
Shenanigan.
shenanigan.
Shenanigan. Yeah. I think about to get off of here. I got to get this day going.
Yeah, I got to get dressed and we got to head to Athens and finish doing my daughter's dorm room stuff. And
I'm fine. Don't kill anyone.
I didn't kill anyone yesterday.
Well, yeah, I know. I'm talking
I didn't
about
even
today.
have to threaten anybody yesterday.
That's a whole
Actually, it
new
was a
day.
pretty
There's
decent
hope.
day.
Your general presence is the threat, John. I mean, that's implied.
I'm a hugger.
I'm a hugger.
I will fucking hug you till you die.
I will
Right?
love him. And
You're a hugger like an anaconda is a hugger.
I will fucking hug you till you die.
I'm just picturing of mice and men.
Can't breathe, John.
We do that a lot around here. We make jokes about it. I say, tell them about the rabbits.
I would love him.
What we're stuck on right now is a family in our house. You know how you have inside jokes that your family's privy to and no one else is?
Oh, I love
Right.
inside jokes. I want to be a part of one day.
What? I didn't hear you.
I said I love inside jokes. I want to be a part of one day.
No, you already have been. But we're stuck on this the scene from Django where they're doing the masks.
Okay.
He's like,
Oh,
I think that we all think that the mask was a good idea, but could have been done better.
don't ask me for a fucking thing.
So the other night we're at a restaurant and we're eating, and my wife says something, and I was like, "Oh, hold on a minute, I'm fucking with my eye hole or something." And she's like, "Would you stop it?" I said, she handed me something, and I said, "I can't see fucking shit out of this thing."
Oh, it's a great
So we're in
scene.
a crowded restaurant. I don't have my hearing aids in, so the volume of my voice is not proportionate to the room.
I would have started
So-
dying laughing.
And so my daughter says something, and I said, "No," I said, "I don't even trim." I said, "Your mama trims my asshole." I said, "Normally in about another hour, I'll be face down, ass up, and she'll be back there with a razor just going at it, you know." And all of a sudden, I hear people laughing, and I start looking around, and the tables next to us are just dying laughing because we're having this conversation where I'm jokingly saying that I'm going to have my head in the pillow, my ass in the air, and she's going to be shaving my butthole. But I'm saying it so fucking loud that the whole place is hearing it and laughing their ass off. Of course, nobody said anything. They just giggled.
Oh my goodness, that's Yeah.
And that's how I got kicked out of Texas Roadhouse.
Yeah.
You think they're going to let us get the Kumite going?
You know, I really hope so. I mean, I think a reunion really needs something like that.
I think the reunion needs a blood sport competition.
You know, at the very least, we need a cage.
Yeah.
I'll bring my spider monkey.
I don't care about competing. I just want to fight Chad.
Yeah. There's a few motherfuckers I want to call out.
I'll put up $1,000. I just want to fight Chad. I don't care if I win or not. He can have $1,000. I just want to fight him.
Right. Right. Here, win, lose, or draw.
Yeah, you don't even have to win. Just get in the ring.
Get inside, motherfucker.
I need to start training jiu-jitsu. It's not going to help.
He said he hasn't done it in forever, so I mean, it's a win-win.
I'm literally going to pull your arms off and beat you with them.
He's probably gonna be like, look, just nothing with the legs. That's gonna be his one thing, like nothing with the legs.
Nah,
Anything
it does
close
sound like
is
he's
gonna
got
be
a
a
serious
bad
issue
idea.
with that quad, though, man. That's a tough one.
I do feel for him. He does sound like
that is a tough one, bro.
Yeah.
That's a rough one to heal.
I had an Afghan one time. We were in Nangarhar over near the Tora Bora doing that ABP. And they hit me up on the radio and they said, "Hey, Doc, we got this Afghan out here at the ECP. He's in bad shape." A local, you know. And I was like, all right. I said, pat him down. I'm on the way. So I go to him, and he'd gotten in a knife fight in the village. And he had some defensive wounds. He had a couple in his arm. He had one in his back. And then he had a really good one right here. And it went right straight in somehow. And he had went to the doctor. They sewed his shit up with what looked like, would you fucking asshole? With you know the shoe leather.
Oh,
The
no
leather
way.
strips like you would see in penny loafers. It looked like
Like
that.
rawhide fucking
Yes.
strips.
Yes. So I'm looking at this fucking thing, and I'm like, this is bad. I mean, it's oozing gunk. It's infected. It looks like shit.
Smelled delicious.
Yeah, it's terrible. And it's already gone on like fucking 48 hours. And so I'm way outside the fucking norm of closing these wounds and dealing with this. But it's bad. I mean, this guy's going to get fucking sick and die if I don't do something. You know what I mean? So I cut all this shit out and I open it up and I go in and I start debriding all this dead fucking tissue. I'm doing iodoform. I'm packing it. I'm putting in fucking drains and shit. And I reclose the wound, but I leave a drain. You know what I mean? And I put him on some heavy fucking antibiotics and shit, and wind up he winds up coming out of it really well. Pulled out just fine. Everything come out. But the point is that wound was that fucking deep, you know,
Right.
and it went straight back. And it covered the muscles and all that shit. So that's what I was talking about the other day when we were talking about that in our group chat. Is like, yeah, it's tough, man, because I've had to fucking sit there and work with that shit coming out, and it's gonna fucking tear. There is no way to reattach that muscle and make it. I mean, there is way, but it's bad.
It's never going to be like the same it was before. It just
And you got to almost immobilize that shit and let it heal, because the moment you move, it's going to tear. Muscle fibers are terrible trying to fucking repair.
Oh yeah, especially mid muscle belly, mid muscle belly. It's like
imagine going to the store and like getting two thin pieces of steak and sewing them together. You know what I mean? Like lay two pieces of steak flat and then sew them together and then pull them apart. How much pressure would it take to pull that apart? You know what I mean? Like that'll just rip right out of the meat. You know what I mean? And that's the same principle. It's just it's very difficult to deal with.
I mean, I'd almost rather deal with like some of the connective tissue with the ligaments and tendons and shit, because I mean, you know, that's harder tissue that's gonna, you know, you mobilize a joint, but you're going to have a successful, again, not going to be like it was before the injury, but it's going to heal.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
Oh Lordy. Yeah, it's definitely interesting. The shit we used to get away with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All getting older.
Yeah,
Yeah. I was going to say that's something that Chad has to reconcile, and guys like him, or like us, I should say, said, yeah, you get into that age where you ain't bouncing back from a simple injury no more,
No.
kid.
No.
You're an old
Well,
fella.
I went to twist my leg up to look at the bottom of my foot this morning. It one of those blisters on it.
You went to
And it-
look at the bottom of your foot. Motherfucker, I
Yes.
can't even see my feet, let alone the goddamn bottom.
Well, I went to go and like pull it up like this.
Oh,
I hate
monkey, you monkey
fucking little weaselly
motherfucker.
prick.
I know, right?
Uncomfortable.
You're
But
a
when I
rubber
did
person.
that this morning, I ended up torqued it right where I'd ended up breaking my fibula last year. Fucking felt like an ice pick shot in there. Oh, it fucking hurt. But yeah, I mean, and that's 18 months ago that I broke that leg, and still, I twist wrong. I can feel it because it was a spiral fracture about midway up my fibula, straight down into the outer ankle bone. Almost took that little ankle bone section off.
You know, there's a misconception, and you may know this, but there's a misconception, Dale back me up on this. People think that the bone is the pain, and there's no nerve endings in your bone.
Okay.
Well, there's no pain receptors in your bone, is how I should have put
Right.
it. There are nerve receptors, but they only sense pressure. They don't sense pain. And so the pain that you feel when you break a bone is the damage from the surrounding tissue, not from the
Yeah.
bone itself. And I find that to be so funny because I've got an interosseous gun. You know what I'm talking about, Booger?
No.
It's basically a little battery powered, very high speed drill. And on the end of that drill, you put a bit that basically is a needle. And that needle has another needle inside of it. So that when they're together, it's a solid piece of metal. Then I pull the middle section out, and now it's a straw.
It just puts a
So I
catheter into the
drill that
bone.
into your bone, into the marrow, and then I remove the center, right? And now I can screw an IV on it, and I can push medication into your bone marrow. It's a very vascular, very good way of getting medication in on somebody who's so hemodynamically compromised through blood loss or whatever the case may be.
I watched somebody take one of those the chest ones. It looks
Okay,
like
well, it's
like
a similar
bullet with it
principle, but this is
as
much more effective.
yeah.
But basically, you take the easiest place to put it's in the tibia,
Yeah.
right in the flat part of your tibia, just below the kneecap.
Yeah.
And then the flat part of your leg right there. You literally take that needle and you stick it to their bone, and you just right into the bone.
Well, yeah, you don't have a
And
whole hell of a
people
lot of
freak the
tissue
fuck
there.
out when you do this. They're like, "Oh my god," because it doesn't hurt, right? It literally doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
It gives the illusion of this horrible thing. I would let people do it on me as I was teaching the class.
Nice.
And I'd be like, "Here, do it on me." And they're like, "Are you shitting me?" And I'd like, and just drill it into myself. And I was like, "Here, you do the other leg." And they're like,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, when I watched somebody get that IOV thing, we were just doing a med class on an off day, and our medic on the team was a former PJ. That was actually his call sign, and so he was sitting there and he was explaining it. And he was like, "I'll show you guys if we have a volunteer." And one dude was like, "I'll fucking do it." And so he laid down on the ground and they fucking shot him with that thing.
Yeah.
He said that the worst part of that, it was like the needle itself didn't hurt. He said it was just that pressure, them having to press on his chest to get it to engage.
And that's why I like the IO gun in retrospect to that, because with me, there's no way you can put that chest piece on me and it not hurt. You got to go through 6 inches of fucking meat to get to my breastbone.
Right.
But with my knee or with my leg, you don't. So the only pain that you feel is when the needle penetrates the skin. And if you feel that tibia right there, there's nothing there.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
no
It's a
need.
very, very low pain process. Now, the downside to that is that you do feel pressure. So when you start pushing fluid into that bone, it hurts like a motherfucker because it feels like the bone's going to explode.
Yeah.
All
That's
right.
wild.
So what you do is you take lidocaine and you very slowly push lidocaine first, and it numbs those receptors in the bone that feel pressure, and then you pour it to it.
Yeah.
But
You know, that's being in medicine, there isn't anything that really disturbed me except the one time early on in my career, I was actually working in a med hold unit where I had to go around and like get signatures from doctors and shit. And I had to go up to this cancer unit where this doctor was, getting samples from this guy. He was an old retiree. And I knew his rate was machinist mate because he had two a tattoo on each ass cheek and it said twin screws. And I was just like,
Well
motherfucker,
then,
I gotta look at this motherfucker's old ass cheeks up in the air. But anyways, the doctor was getting a sample from his hip, and he's got this T handle, and he's like, so he comes to the door, that I knock on, and he's like, yeah, how can I help you? I'm like, sir, I just need to, get a signature from you. He's like, oh, well, I'm getting ready to do this, getting a bone sample. Hey, have you ever seen this before? I'm like, no, sir, I haven't. And he goes, well, why don't you come on in and watch this? And I'm like, all right. So I come in, and it looks like something that you would stick into a tire to, shore up the hole in. So he's got this T handle, right? And so I go in, ass cheeks up in the air. Like I said, he's already got the, setup done. And he goes, so I'm looking for the hip crest. He's explaining it to me now. I'm looking for the hip crest. I'm going to go in here, get the sample, blah, blah. So he goes, okay. So he finds the hip crest, takes the T handle, and he goes in. Now the old guy just makes a sound. He was like, oh, and it's obviously from the pressure, like you were explaining, John. But you hear the bone.
oh yeah.
You hear that.
Well, before they came out with a gun, that was how we did IOs.
Yeah, yeah.
We literally, no shit, had a handheld T. The T went across the palm of your hand, and the fucking rod came out right here, like
Yeah.
some Wolverine shit. And you would literally put it on their fucking leg, and you would sit there and do that shit, pop, and it would pop like that.
Yeah.
Then you would remove everything and set it up. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
done that. I don't know how many fucking times I did that shit to people. Hold them, fucking.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
And dude, you
Ah.
hear the friction of the bone, and
You
dude,
got to be careful, brother. I've
my
had
stomach.
people, no shit. I've never seen it do it in real life, but I had it happen on a mannequin before when we were training people, and they would literally push so hard on the younger people, on kids and stuff. They would literally, swear to
go
God, go
through it.
through the fucking leg. It would pop through the other side because they're pushing with so much pressure. So that's what made those guns really valuable.
Hmm. Yeah, I tell you what, listen to that guy make that sound and hearing the sound of the bone friction. That was the first time my stomach started to turn. I was like, I'm like, oh God. I'm like, Doc, I'm going to step out for a minute. And I was like, I can't hear this anymore.
I think one of the worst ones I ever had. I was a civilian medic here. And we had a wreck on I-85. We got I-85 runs anyway. You've been here.
Yeah.
And they get NASCAR wrecks. I mean, there's no little fender benders. You know what I mean? One of the worst ones I ever worked, we pulled up, and there was some people coming back from March Madness, I think, in Atlanta. Something had happened, and this Escalade somehow or another crosses the median, and then when it hits the other side, it goes airborne. They're running like 90, 95 mile an hour, and they hit this ice truck, one of the box trucks that's kind of real big and tall, and it hits almost windshield level.
Damn.
Kills everybody. Like 5, 6 people dead. The Escalade, it was the strangest thing I'd ever seen. The Escalade is almost sheared in half.
Oof.
And so like the body and stuff is over here, but like the chassis and the wheels and all are over here.
Hmm.
The chassis is upside down. So the wheels are in the air and there's still someone belted in the back seat, bent 90 degrees the wrong way.
Mm.
There's another guy under the ice truck with his leg 75% severed, wrapped around the fucking drive shaft of this ice truck.
Damn.
I mean, this is the force that's involved in this, right? There's another cat that's in pieces. There's another cat that's in pieces. The one, come here, Richard. Come here and lay down. I'll fliegen. There's another one, I'll fliegen. There's another one that the top of the skull is completely missing. Like you literally just cut it off. And the brain's gone. So there's just this hole with the head. And it looked like you took that brain and put it in a water hose, would be the best way I could describe it, and sprayed it on the side of that fucking truck.
Hmm.
I mean, so it's just fucking chaos. Shut the interstate down for like 8 hours. I mean, it's fucking horrible wreck. One of the worst wrecks I ever saw.
Yeah, no
So
shit.
we're standing there and we're doing cleanup at this time. Everybody's done with the investigation. You know, you got the state police, everybody's out here, you know, taking pictures and making measurements and all this stuff. And anyway, so we're standing there and one of them's like, all right, we got to start policing these bodies. What do you want to do? I was like, fuck, man. I don't want to pick this shit up because you got a fucking finger over here, a section of jaw laying over there. I mean, it's bad, dude. It's just fucking awful. And this fucking volunteer fire queer, like, who's going to pick this fucking shit up? And this volunteer fireman goes, I'll pick it up.
Oh
I
Lord.
just handed him a fucking bag and said, get it. He went around, just started picking shit up, put it in a body bag. So we had one bag for every body, and then we had one extra bag for all the pieces that they had to figure out who it went to.
Mm.
Anyway, I guess I need to get this day started. Y'all got anything else?
Nah, I
Hell
gotta
of
do
a
the same.
wrap up. Yeah,
Yeah, right.
I know. Yeah, I got my
Oh,
cat
look.
laying on her back.
Oh, look, he's black with a gold chain.
Oh, weird. I can say that.
Yeah, he'll be at your house eating dinner for the week's over.
West Side, yo.
He really is a good boy.
Next thing you know, he's gonna have a grill.
Right. Man, I have seen the titanium teeth on mountain walls before.
Really?
Yeah, it's usually after they've lost their teeth, but it's basically like a crown. But they'll do their canines titanium after they've like worn down or they've lost them from bite work. They'll do titanium inserts.
I haven't.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's wild. There for a
It's
while.
not a little weird, but I
they
need you to
were-
work with me on this.
They were taking the canines out and doing it, but
You
they
gonna get
found
you a
that better to do it after they lose their canines because they
Hell yeah, I want a grill.
causing a lot of jaw issues. Yeah, he does. That platinum grill, Dad.
Oh man.
Anyway. All right, well, I got to get moving. Y'all have a good day, guys.
Yep, we'll see y'all.
All right.
All right, see ya.